every day and every night. And I mean, I did some good ones and I did some bad ones. I did one in Sedona. I was absolutely ripped out of my mind in this Bates Hotel in Cottonwood at the corner unit. Oh, it was creepy, man. It was like the Bates Motel. And I had all these things happening to me. Like Father God came in the room and he looked like you know what he looked like? He looked like the trees in the show Sleepy Hollow when the dude's riding through the forest and they all got these long faces on them. They're going like that. So I had all this stuff happen at me and I got ripped. And then I did this radio show. And I thought, wow, that was good. I'm going to jump on and do another one, a solo song. My hair is all like that. I got no shirt on, you know. I got cigarettes burning and stuff. That's back in the day when I was misbehaving. But hey, so what we're doing is we're having an impromptu Soulogy roundtable discussion. Hello, everybody. And we've got the fam in the house, and we just decided to come on and speak a little bit. We'll be back in a minute and 19 seconds so we can allow people time to come in. All right. This all started, we had a cancel yesterday. So Melissa's been a big part of Soulogy, man. I mean, you know, it's the truth. I mean, she's one of the two 0 point practitioners in 0 pointing practitioners in the world, by the way. But yeah, we've had this relationship, and then her and Morgan forged a relationship. And so she was talking to her. I'm like, hey, man, I need somebody to come on tomorrow. I'm not doing one show. This is the only show today, but because we had a cancel, and Melissa's like, yeah, I'll do it. And then her and Michael were talking, and they're like, hey, you know, you want to come on? And then I was telling Marina, why don't you come on? Because I said, Marina, can you make? And I didn't even put up the announcement. Sorry, I was sleeping. But anyway, so I told Marina, and I'm like, hey, do you want to come on? Then I woke up this morning very happy. She's like, I didn't want to do it, but I decided, yes, I'm going to do it. So I'm really happy for that. Marina is putting the website together, and man, everybody knows how long I've been talking about that, but wow, you know, and then I'm going to turn this over to y'all. But a couple of things too. I wanted to say, hello, Bella. What's happening? She's like so cool. I'll try to get her on. So like we got this hit from Facebook on the group. So we now have one strike with YouTube, even though we don't put any content up that's controversial. I mean, probably the biggest controversy we have is Todd having a rant, dropping F-bombs. That's it, which is not a big deal. But we had a warning from Facebook that we had content that if it happens again, they're going to deactivate the group. So it's important that we keep going, and I'm going to be talking about this more because there's a couple of pieces on the website that are basically like essentially their own web page, although it'll probably all look like one web page. We're still working that out, but there's a couple of components that we really need to implement, and we will. You got to speak that shit into existence. One of them is, and I have some familiarity with it because we've already started it last year. I just wasn't pleased with the amateurish look of it. But thank you for the person that put it together. It wasn't their fault. We were both new to it, and we just Googled it, and figured out what was out there. But what I'm trying to say is, we're looking to add very quickly to the website, which can be created separately until it's ready to be fused, a public profile based community that allows for everything Facebook does, which is videos and images and the whole 9 yards. Okay. So I just want to put that out there. And there's a couple other components that I'm going to talk about too that aren't as complicated. They're just time consuming. So anyone out there that might be interested in spearheading the personal profile based community on the Soulogy website, then please reach out to me at soulogyonestudios@gmail.com, or anybody that you know that's associated with us. And secondly, anyone that is interested in doing hours and hours of video editing, picking out small 3, 5, 6, 9-minute segments of shows that have pertinent material, like Joe Rogan does. Like they pull out the show, pull out little segments, and they put them out there. So I'm just putting that out there. Anyone that would like to assist us. And no pressure, no worries, no nothing. Now, getting to the business at hand. The last thing I get to do is the Michael Mejia imitation. I woke up today, and I can't go on, but I love to do his impression. Dad, are you on the stairs listening to Todd? Yeah. So here's the topic of the day. What the fuck is going on, man? I woke up this morning and I read a couple of people. Now this is people that are like pretty big out there. Like they've been on the show, right? And there's more than one. And I'm talking about bigger than our kind of community that's kind of organically grown together. We're talking about people that are out there, YouTube, lots of people, or you know what I mean? Like they'd be big even if we weren't, supporters of them or whatever. I saw some radical statements being made, and pretty much statements like, hey, if you don't like it, go fuck yourself. And if in the universe, if you want to take me out of here, just beam me up because I'm done. I mean, like almost like surrendering but giving up. There's a difference between surrendering and embracing versus surrendering and giving up. Anyway, so we have we'll just go clockwise. Melissa, Marina, Michael, Todd. Melissa, Maria, Michael, Todd. And just one last thing. Thank you, all three of you, for coming on. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for being so bold and ballsy and beautiful. And I'm grateful. I'm very grateful, more and more grateful every single day. And I'm excited because more of that gratitude is coming from people that have a connection with, like you guys. So, Melissa, do you know what the hell's going on?
No. No. I know. Look, I just think, I don't know, I've got to speak for myself. I think we're all just in a place now where we're meeting ourselves, and there's nowhere to hide, no matter what. And however that looks like, it might look like chaos, it might look like calm. And I think it's just crunch time. There's like, even, people's expression. I know we might judge what you're seeing like this morning, but even myself, I can't not unsee things. I cannot unhear things. I have to honor myself at all costs. So I think that's going to look like a shit show to some people out there, in the public forum. But privately, I think everybody is really in a place now where they're meeting themselves. I don't know. What do you think?
Who? Me?
Uh,
Oh,
You.
you're next. Oh, me? Who? I feel like we're.
Any of you guys.
Oh, Marina, you go. Marina, you go.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Melissa. I think everyone's navigating their own journey, I think. And everything outside of you is inside. So, like you said, what looks like chaos on the outside, it can do, depending on where you're at. And you're going to feel it if you've still got bits to work out yourself and navigate yourself, then, you know, it's, but I have no idea. But what I do see is change in everyone, you know,
Yeah.
regardless of where you're at. I see huge changes going on because when you've been through it yourself, like your dark times. So what I see happening outside, I've done that. I remember the dark and the chaotic and on my knees, you know, thinking, what is this? What am I? Who am I? You know, and stripping myself completely bare of everything. And that's what's happening. I see that. So you can have nothing but, I don't know, I just observe and have compassion now because I've been it. We've all been it, you know, and
Yeah.
and so you do feel it at a deeper level. So now with compassion and love, and so it's navigating. It's a navigation for us and where we're going, and to stay focused on what we want. Some people want chaos and need that. I needed it. I needed the chaos to wake up. I needed to be on my knees to stand up, you know. So we all need, everything that's happening right now is happening perfect for everyone.
Happening for us.
Yeah. 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 So that's all I know from where I sit and how I feel. And my reality and what I experience, right? That's all I can come from.
Yeah.
But yeah. Other than that, I have no idea. Michael?
Have you anything to add? You don't get mad if I do that, dude.
No. I think it's cool.
I love it.
I think that I'll start with my dream. My dreams are a guide for me. And last night, well, first off, I'm allergic to dogs and cats, but I love animals. So last night, so typically I don't touch animals. I'll just talk to them. But because every time I start petting animals, I'll break out. But I was sleeping and I had a dream that I was at a friend's house and they had a new little white fluffy puppy, and they were bathing it, and it jumped out of the bathtub and it ran, and out of all the people it ran to me, and it just looked at me, and then it jumped on me, and it started trying to dry itself on me, and all I could feel was pure love. So I just held it. I was like, oh, forget it, I'm not going to let fear stop me. So I held the dog, and then I woke up, and then I'm outside this morning talking on the phone with Marina, and I was getting some sun, and as she's speaking, I see something in my peripheral, and so I look, and it's a small, fluffy black dog, and it runs up to me and it starts licking me, and as I'm you'll never guess what happened, because I had just told her the dream. So then I flipped the camera and showed her, and I was at the same time, I was do you think this is? And we both said yin and yang at the same time.
Wow.
And then we started laughing. And so I just felt it was really symbolic of the balance that's being called through this portal. And we're going through a portal. It's very much been a void state for all of us, because that's where energy is purified. And what I'm experiencing and what I'm witnessing and what's happening in my own reality and what I'm witnessing in the external is that for a lot of us that have been doing this work for a long time, we're being called and energetically, the merging of the masculine and the feminine are kind of starting to come into balance. And it's, I think, the power, if we've reached a state where enough pain's been transmuted, we can bear witness to the experience both inside of us in our immediate reality and out into the external. And I just like kind of always fall back on some of the divine principles that speak to me. And that's that the spirit is meek, it's soft, it's gentle, it's love. It moves throughout the world as such, where it feels like a whisper. It's tender, and its truth, though, is the most powerful sword. And I feel that the spirit is really moving through the world. And then if you just look at I mean, outside of ourselves, inside of ourselves, whatever the experience is, the pain body within us, the ego within us, the collective pain body, the collective ego is loud, it's impulsive, it's impetuous, it needs to be heard, it needs to it needs to be experienced. And you see this death of the collective pain, the death of the pain within the individual, and it creates such a discordant frequency, because really when pain feels its death, right, its immediate default is to create more pain. And this is because that's the way that it used to feed, to keep duality anchored in the old paradigm. And when enough energy has been transmuted and enough equilibrium is grounded and anchored in the form, what we're experiencing now is, as that energy comes towards us, if it's not activating, it dies immediately within our own reality. But it still needs to be experienced in whatever other realities separation is being called back into balance. And without judgment, with compassion, with love, with sincerity, with witness. And like Marina said, in knowing that we're all going through it, first and foremost within ourselves, and then we see it reflected out. And when it plays out, right, when that scenario plays out, being able to bear heart and love and see and know that not only have we played every role, even if energy's been transmuted within our own form, we're still playing out that role in the form that's out in the external, because we are not just witness within the light that's being anchored, but there is an aspect that is existence that lives in the other form. And if we really witness that, then we have nothing but love and compassion for the laws that everything is bound by, that's unraveling. And so I just think that right now, it could be challenging, it could be hard. I have my own personal experiences. I have my human experiences, my human moments. But at the same time, I feel like I'm able to navigate with the light of unity and just know that I really have no animus for anyone or anything, because this is excruciatingly painful. It's hard, it's scary, it's dark, but light will pierce through this veil, and we all have no choice. We are becoming love. Everything that is not love is being eradicated. And I just, I'm grateful to be here with the three of you and everyone that's joining us. The three of you have been a big part of my uncovering and just learning how to move back into the flow. Yeah.
Wow. Michael. Or is it Moses? It might be Moses. Yeah, I like to crack jokes, especially after I wake up, but that's very much to the point. And, it's true. It's true. Many of us have been, since we come out, everybody's got their own roles. Mine's I walk with the addict, the priest, and the pastor. That point, Michael, you like. And the whole point is oneness. And I think we are struggling, which is a good thing, because if you think everything's fine, I was telling this to a friend of mine yesterday. We were just talking about things on a personal level a little bit. And I said, where I catch myself, and it hasn't happened so much lately, but because I think I got burned a lot, was when I used to come out and, you go through those waves, and you get up on top of the wave and you're like, I've never felt better. I got everything figured out. I got my masculine, feminine. They're wired. I mean, they're copulating up Jacob's ladder in my spine day in, day out. I mean, we're having orgasms all the time. I mean, I got everything worked out, and as soon as you do that, boom, you get slammed. So I kind of stopped doing it. And, but I just was sharing that with my friend because I've seen everyone pretty much do it. And I've seen it in myself. And I thought, well, this is one thing I can look at and say, and check myself. So I've had to, over the years, and I've talked about it on the show, people coming at me. A lot of that's happening right now. Soulogy obviously is going through a really important surge. And I'm aware of that. I'm working with the consciousnesses. Some of the team members all of them are. And it's interesting because it's paralleling the collective and the individual. We're all in the same boat. We're all going down the same stream. But where I'm really trying to focus on is how do I handle the energies that come at me? And that people have heard me talk about it. I don't respond to messages, sometimes. And I guess where I'm at with it is I can just do what I can do. And so if I can respond, then I respond. If I don't know what to say, I don't respond. 90% of the time, 95% of the time. Every now and then, 5 or 10% of the time, a tiger bites me in the ass, and I've got to turn into the old Todd, infected by the alpha male programming. It's very rare that happens. Usually it happens, and Morgan witnesses it, and she'll say, go take a walk, go have a Guinness, go do something, and let it go, So she'll see it, but you don't see it much online. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is this is where I'm focusing on, because I'm realizing that as we go further and further into this thing, there's more of a convergence that can't be denied. So you think you can block something out or you can ignore something, it's going to come back. We all know this. But does that mean that you're a bad person, Todd, if you can't handle them as they come? No, it just means I'm dealing with the ones that I have the most resonance with, that are the most familiar and of a like frequency. Because even in those situations, as there's 111 people here, even in those situations, there is a little turbulence, and there are some things that have to be ironed out through the code exchange that you have with these people that you're closer with, who you're more authentic with, and you have a more transparent relationship. So that's how I've kind of talked to myself over the last few days, especially. Actually, this goes back to a week ago Saturday. So this is 10 days, and I've been in this place how do I maneuver this and keep my frequency where it needs to be? And really what's happening is I'm letting go of all these have tos and need tos, certainly expectations of other people, and certainly what others think of me. And it's kind of weird, and it is a little painful, and you do feel like an asshole a little bit because you didn't answer this person. I mean, I got an old friend sending me a message 4, 5, 6 times saying, do this, do this, do this. Now, because they have a more concrete relationship in the physical, however you want to put it, or known them longer or whatever, it doesn't seem to have it doesn't seem to make an exception. There are no exceptions. It's like what I just described to you is how I'm doing it, and I could be choosing to play with someone that I just met 3 weeks ago as opposed to somebody I knew for 5 or 10 years, because their frequency is allowing me the freedom I need and the non-judgment I need to be able to work out the code exchange and share and create, a symmetric field of equality and unity and oneness. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's just the talk inside my head. And so I of course I agree with what all three of you said. So Melissa, you want to pick up that ball and run with it, or you want to you want to drop another dime on the table?
No, look, it's awesome what you're talking about. It's perfect, isn't it? I mean, to touch back on what Michael said about these aspects of ourselves, the masculine and feminine, align as we integrate them, we elevate, we go up, we come down, and we're witnessing the things about ourselves that aren't in alignment with ourselves, if that makes sense. It's just been one hell of a ride. One of the things I have to acknowledge about where I've been over the last couple of weeks is identifying things in my world, in my field, and in my existence that I have been buying into that weren't in alignment with myself, but I stayed there because I didn't, how do I say, I couldn't recognize that they were the old patterns playing out. You touched on saying there a couple of minutes ago, when you play in the frequency of people who nourish, that vibration, you can actually get to see from a different perspective where you're staying too long in things and situations that you don't belong. I think with everybody out there at the moment, as we do meet ourselves, we have a lot of these, we kind of touched on this on Monday morning when we were talking. We've got these choice points now that we have to make, where as you integrate these aspects of yourself, what are you going to do with them? What actions, steps are you going to take to get behind them? And you can try and keep carrying people, or you can nourish yourself and witness the things in yourself that aren't nourishing you. I'm like yourself. One day I'm riding those waves and I'm witnessing the difference that's on the far side of our fears, and then I face plant. But it's in the face plant for me that I learn, that I see myself, like Marina said, with compassion. I compassionately pick myself up. I'm compassionately witnessing, where did my patterns come from? Where did these thoughts come from? Because it's very, very, very clear now and what isn't. What's in the mind and what's in the heart. And the mind is our biggest takedown. Love just is. It's a state of kind of being. So if you can get that balance within yourself, then you can witness everything else around you for what it is, and then have the capacity to do something about it, or not. You said it's about the integration of the masculine or feminine, or the opposite. It's like people are running naked around the place. They've got nowhere to go. Marina, you said it as well. We've all had this. We've all been to this place where we have been stripped bare of everything, and everything that we have been, or everything we thought we were, with nowhere to go but in. And when you're in that stillness and in that space, who are you? What are you? Who are you being? So, I'm just winging it, to be honest. I'm definitely just winging it. I try and I'll have conversations with the people who I love about my head, because your head gets so, like you just kind of described a few minutes ago, Todd, it gets loaded. And the second it gets loaded, that's when you have the capacity to pull back into your old patterns, your old cycles, your old life, where you have literally climbed, and I said it in some of the things I wrote, left claw marks on to come undone from. If we can keep returning to your heart, to your center, I keep trying. I don't always get it right, for sure. That's when I face plant, but that's when I stand back up again. So yeah, I'm definitely just winging it. Marina.
Yeah, choice. I think that's all it is. And this is again just from what I do is feeling. I feel into everything, everyone. If I'm witnessing something and I instantly feel it in my chest, it doesn't matter what it is, what situation, who it is, it hits me here, and I start to understand what the feeling is, and try to see. I try to see if there's a connection in me or something in me. Like you said, I loved what you said about the clawing and holding on to old stuff because it's so familiar, and sometimes you don't want to let it go because it's been there for so long. So going through, yeah, lately there's a few things that have come up with me and how I cry if something hits my field and it doesn't feel good now. There's no resistance to releasing whatever it is. Sometimes I don't even question or dive in. I just let my body let it go. So a lot of the time I cry instantly. It doesn't matter where I am. I don't really care anymore. It just comes out because it's painful to hold stuff in. So even if I'm witnessing something that doesn't look good, feel good in my field, if I cry and it's triggered anything, it just comes out now. There's no resistance anymore. I think that's what caused me suffering, like holding on, resisting change, denying, probably another big one, denying that it's not in me when it probably was. So yeah, for me it's just there's no resistance anymore. There's none. It's a complete surrender to what is, and accepting. That's another big one. Accepting it for what it is and not trying to make it something it's not, but being okay with what it is, because whatever is presenting in that moment is okay. It really is okay. And so yeah, a lot of loving yourself back to life, right? I think that's it. That's been it. It still is.
Yeah. I think that, yeah, you're talking about the feeling. And I talked about this with Denise Chadwick a little bit yesterday, is that, well, life has always been a vibrational reality, but in the old paradigm, we weren't able to sense the energy outside of our field because we were subjugated to our pain and our egos. So that energy was the experience that created the old human, which it was meant to. It was an experience called on by existence. So there's nothing wrong with that experience. And the reason reality got bisected was because all of the stagnant energy that lived inside of us as thought and emotion would paint our perception of the external, and in varying degrees, depending on how much energy was stuck within the form. And when Marina's talking about this feeling, how she's feeling everything so deeply, it's because as this energy is transmuted, this vibrational reality becomes the feeling experience of the spirit. So now our vibrational field and the vibrational fields outside of us, they are a prefix and they precede experience. We feel energy from across the globe. We feel it all around. We feel it within ourselves because we've just connected to the new, or some of us are connecting to the new grid. All of us are, but just in varying degrees. And as we connect to this grid, we're able to feel each other as one organism, right? That's the new human. That's the new experience, no longer bisected through pain, but the feeling experience of the spirit. So I think something that has really been calling my attention is just not denying what I feel. And that's what you're talking about, feeling it. I no longer need anything outside of me to interpret my reality, because I'm feeling everything. But what comes with that new state where consciousness is expanded back into wholeness is you don't judge what you feel, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with saying what you feel and feeling the energy, because you're now interpreting frequency and vibration through the light of your own being. And so it's feeling it. And if you're judging what you're experiencing or what you're feeling, then you're still experiencing your reality through your pain. But if while you're having this physical experience and you say what you feel without judgment, there's a recognition of the God within, without, and whatever external forms are entering your field. So it's, oh, I remember, oh, there's God in shame. There's God in pain. There's God in insecurity. There's God in, right? There's God in full recognition of divinity and love. There's God in arrogance. There's God questioning itself again, right? You start feeling it, and then with that recognition, there is absolutely the death of the enemy, right? In the old paradigm, everything was an enemy. Everything was trying to destroy us. But in the new paradigm, you realize that everything was preparation. Everything was preparation for remembrance. And that's a gift. There are no more enemies. If you still see someone as not yourself, you are experiencing separation. Right? So if someone is transmitting an energy towards you that doesn't feel good, you could say, "Oh, this doesn't feel good." That's God projecting an energy, calling for a state of equilibrium. And I bow to the God in this form. I bow to the God in the form of politics as it dissolves before our eyes. I bow before God because everything is God, but everything in the old paradigm is dissolving. Why? Not because it's horrible, it's bad, it's this, right? Rumi has a quote that says, "Out there beyond wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there." He's talking about the field of neutrality. He's talking about pure consciousness, the field that when you reach it, you know you designed everything this way. Why would you judge your own creation? Right? So as we move out of this paradigm and we move back into a state of remembrance, we get to honor the very creation that we brought into the physical, and we see ourselves in everything. So I think something that quantifies separation, which is the face of fear, and love, which is eternal and is the totality of creation, is, are there still other people? Does anyone else exist, or am I here by myself?
Yeah.
Am I the only one here in this reality now, but watching myself dancing in a million billion different ways?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Good luck following that.
Are you kidding? I know. No, I know where no, I'm and okay. So somebody, I think Anisi Sonsika, she made a couple of comments, and somebody else did too, about Michael, Todd and Michael. Can y'all do a show? Just so everybody knows, because we do have a lot of new people walking in the door now. We've expanded the platforms. We're on 7 now, but I think we're going to be around 15 when we launch in a couple of weeks. Michael has a show every Friday. It's called The Word. And he just had his first show. If you wanted to see a show with him and I, it was this past Friday. And, if you can handle a 58-year-old man blowing snot on the tissues for 30 minutes. But anyway, so and he's Morgan Lee's going to be on his show this Friday. and he'll have one every Friday. He also is part of the team with Delia Flores on Monday mornings, which we're still playing with. Melissa joined us this past Monday. I thought there was a great synergy like there is now. Marina tends to be, by the way, someone who likes to stay in the background like Morgan, but I have a feeling those personalities will be coming out more and more. So back to what Michael was saying, and to carry on the conversation, this is one of the things. My whatever, the universe, my higher self, whatever, it's all one and the same to me, has always spoken to me much rougher than it seems to speak to everybody else. I don't know why. I refer to it as MF. It refers to me as MF, but they are terms of endearment. There's no doubt. There's no blasphemy or disrespect. But one of the things that it has said to me along the lines of what Michael's talking about is when you see that outside of yourself, which you're not in equilibrium with, not only are you in separation, you are the separation, Todd. You are the separation. So no matter how much you want to justify or rationalize, what they did to you and how it all happened, you're still the line of separation. And this is one of the things that I was talking to Michael about on his first show, because he just opened up. I mean, I showed up just totally vulnerable. I was going through some stuff, and I didn't even want to be there, but it's Michael. He's my brother, and he lights me up and he says, "Hey, what happened when you're on the street or something?" Like it just opened up this whole thing that needed to be released and healed. That's what happened to me, by the way. So what I was getting at then was it was very beneficial to me at the time that I was having these very extreme, multiple situations in my life, which involved, like most of us, family, marriage, kids, job, reputation, freedom, and all these things. So I had to make peace with each and every one of those things, in which I couldn't do. I'm not going to say that I did. It's a journey. It's a graduation type of template, like a set of stairs. But what I was able to do was to take and I couldn't make peace because I didn't understand enough to be able to bring my human in alignment with the rest of me, because the human had to understand, right? So but what I was able to do was I was able to take responsibility for every single thing, for going to jail, for a broken marriage, for disconnected family, for crazy, chaotic, interactions with family, all this stuff that here in my mind, like I think most of us, we know our heart, we know our intentions. We don't have all the stuff figured out, so we make what we called mistakes and had what we called failures, which are actually blessings being burdens and burdens being blessings, right? But I was able to get to a point, because I received, that circumstances and consequences are one and the same. So get over yourself, take responsibility, forget about how it happened, think about where you're at and where you're going. You can't go forward and be effective, Todd, if you are hung up on this situation being a consequence of somebody trying to screw you or whatever the case was. So that had to be cleared. And I don't think I accomplished a lot of things, because there's so much to accomplish. But I do feel that I learned from that point to start taking responsibility for everything. So the reason I bring this up off of what Michael said is because so much of our learning experience is through human interaction. So we're talking about a group of people here, and I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about the people that tune into this frequency that are empaths, that have been secluded, right? That don't like to go into rooms with lots of people. And now what's happening? They're starting to interact. This is what they're being guided to do by Mother Universe. They're being guided to share their heart and their soul, their mended heart, their aligned heart, their power, the power of their empathic ability, as opposed to being on the back of their heels and living in a frequency of weakness. So this is very important. And so how does that translate? It translates into these human interactions where everything gets front and center, and judgment and jealousies and envies and all the things, anger, all the things go with it are front and center, and you can't ask for a better laboratory. So the last thing that I wanted to say, and so it's good to talk about the human interactions in an open, honest, non-judgmental way, and don't take anything personal, right? So this is really important, I think, for myself, and I think for where we're all at. And then the last thing I'll say, I think it's very encouraging that the dialogue begin to be what you guys are talking about today, as opposed to quarantines and vaccines and nationalism and borders and passports and this and that and all that stuff. Because although you can make progress on the road to your own raising your frequency of oneness, dealing with those issues, they can't even hold, they can't even hold my pinky on my body. I mean, like it's no comparison. It's like an ant on an elephant's ass, okay? In terms of the potential, the field of potential that you can, that an individual can project into a higher trajectory of oneness. Then, of course, through the human interaction. So this is where you really got to get, all of us, you really got to get honest with yourself. No, you're not going to be a doormat. We've all been down that road. You've got to stand up for yourself, but you can't come out too fierce, and you can't be too turn the other cheek. There's a new potential, that field that Rumi's talking about, that Michael's bringing up. There's a field of potential that's like like a newborn horse, those foals coming out of a mother, and they're all wet and they're walking around. I mean, there's this new field of potential that is taking all of our definitions of all the operative words to a new level too, such as integrity, such as patience, such as love, such as courage, such as peace, such as peacemaking, collaboration, creation. I mean, so it's a beautiful dance. It really is. But make no mistake, it starts and ends with the individual. No matter what the situation is, the individual is the creator, and the individual will either project separation or oneness, and there's no in between. You can't project oneness and have 1% over here like, okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and compartmentalize that one and put it over here on the back burner, but I'm going to be oneness in God. Can you see that I am? And it's like the universe is like going, you know what? You better straighten that out real quick or you're going to get hit, which is what's happening to a lot of people. So, yeah. So anyway, I think it's encouraging that these types of conversations are occurring, as opposed to, not that they're not important, but as opposed to the, these collective issues that have dominated our culture and our consciousness. We're choosing ourselves, and when you choose yourself, it's not to be confused like when people say, "Oh, I found my twin flame, now everything's going to be great." That's not how it works, It's more like I'm choosing myself now. Now it's time to get to work. But we're being supported big time, and with each other and with our other aspects, both physical and non-physical. Melissa Deehan.
Again, how do I follow that? When we're dealing with other people right now, just to kind of touch in on what you just said, if you remember that who you're looking at is a mirror to you of you, unarmed truth and unconditional love will, I guess, always take you back to a centered, balanced place. But what if you didn't know that you could speak up? What if you didn't know that, you had a voice? Because that's so many people out there are like, well, I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to endure this. I don't want to experience this, but I don't really know how to tackle it, how to approach it. And they see the person outside of themselves as the enemy, instead of the realization that they are looking at a mirror of themselves. And I've really struggled with that, to be completely honest with you. It's the easiest thing on the planet for me to blame the person outside of me for my pain or my suffering, when I don't take, like you said, accountability and responsibility for what I have allowed. And what I have allowed due to my programming and my experience and my history. So for me, what I try and do all the time is remember that I'm looking at myself. Through every person I'm looking at myself. Sometimes I want to kiss the face off them. Sometimes I want to punch the heads off them. But I'm still looking at me, you know? So I got to try and, I don't know, be the source of that unconditional love to myself and that unarmed truth, and speak my mind and open my mouth and give myself the space to be seen and felt and heard. And I'm a bit like Bambi on ice when it comes to this shit, because I've never been here before. I really haven't. So, I don't know. I know that there's a lot of people out there who don't know, who can't separate, who just can't separate when it's appropriate to step in for themselves, or when it's appropriate to stand back and you know, like I said earlier, not leave those claw marks on the things that are trying to leave. I don't know. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go. My experience, I think when a big experience of mine was when I separated from my parents, because I blamed, when I first started, I blamed them for so much. And I used to say, if I'm anything like my parents, don't speak to me. But so I had a lot of pain when I first went through about upbringing and blame, and it was their fault for this, and they should have and could have. So I pulled myself back, because I knew it wasn't a good, I didn't want to project on them the pain I was feeling. So I understood that part. So in the when I pulled myself away in the separation, that's when I found that I was everything like my parents. And everything, the things I didn't like about them, it was in me. You know, it was a huge shift in understanding how I perceive life outside of myself, and how I was perceiving life outside of myself. That was a huge shift. So it wasn't for long. It was about 3 months. We came back together. I had a deeper love for my family than I'd ever had before. I thought I loved them before, but it's only when I brought them back into a completely new space that I loved them on a level that I didn't think I could. And that was total acceptance of myself and them, and that nothing was anybody's fault. Everybody is walking around knowing what they know at the time of knowing it. And until you're shown something different, normal is normal to everybody. So that's what I learned. Everyone's normal is their normal until they experience something different within themselves. And that's when you can look at anything and say, everyone is from the same creation. It doesn't matter who you are, what you've done, you know, anything. We are all from the same thing, whatever that thing or isness is. I have no idea, but I know that everybody, everything is that. And everything that is perfect. It can't not be. It might be an experiencing itself through pain to find itself again. I've done it. Everyone's doing it now. But that like, I don't know what else to say about it, but there is no separation. There cannot be. unless we create it. It's a choice now. It's a choice. So if you need to experience separation in order to find that deeper love or understanding, or just an inkling, then that's fine, because people will. And I think that's what I feel. Everyone will. We all have at some point, you know. So yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that what to touch on what you're saying is the old paradigm is being anchored by collective pain, right? A lot of, like Todd talked about earlier, a lot of souls that came in with more empathy and more heart space activated. What we realize as we transition and cross the threshold from one world to the next is that the families we were born into and all of the experiences, that they all held keys. Everything's a key holder, right? So the universe that lives and breathes within the forms that anchored in the old reality, they weren't meant to play out that reality. And the souls that came in, we're co-creating the new paradigm with the people that we perceived as broken, lost, or not as connected or not as spiritual. No, that's the universe veiled to itself. And now it's sending in different versions of itself, right? To be unlocked by versions that were more asleep intentionally to have a veiled experience. And so when you start to remember that, you cross that ocean, you start to see that, oh, this uncle taught me about shame, and the lesson and the key he held opened a piece of my heart. This mother taught me about love and affection through example, right? This father taught me through kindness. That kid that spit on me and bullied me taught me how to look inside because I didn't feel loved outside. And then all of a sudden, all of their faces start to disappear. And you realize that one by one, they were each unlocking the wounded heart, healing the wounded soul to bring the spirit back into form. Then they disappear, and you realize that that was another version of yourself that lived in a different paradigm, that's now accessing the new paradigm through a different version of yourself. And you start to remember. And the reason that judgment becomes obsolete is because when you see yourself in the other form, no matter what you're transmitting at yourself from that state of consciousness, you love yourself. You love yourself even if you don't remember. You know that's you. And that's what I just wrote about recently. It's offering a prayer for the wounded heart. And it's in knowing that what's in front of you will remember when it's meant to or might not. But if like when we look at this monumental shift we're going through, what we see is that separation is at an all-time high, and it's really being illuminated, not because we're going backwards. We're not. It's literally just all being pulled to the surface. But if you have seen within yourself the separation, you know that there actually isn't a choice because the universe wants to experience love and form right now. So there's a holy waiting right now. And what we're starting to see, what I'm starting to witness in recent time is how you see it feels like, well, the darkness of pain, the darkness of the dual experience, all that energy's been together and it's been very loud and it's been playing out. But for the first time, what we're really seeing is we're seeing something symbiotic, and we're seeing the light that's been unlocked within all these forms that have been invisible to so many for so long. That light starting to finally infuse, and it's coming together, and you're seeing it through this portal. And that light is going to create a wave that this world hasn't seen yet. And nothing can overpower the intention of the universe. And the intention has been set, right? The intention wanted to experience, the universe wanted to experience itself veiled. Now it wants to experience itself embodied. And we're all just going along for the ride. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and there is something else too that I think we can like count on. Okay. So I love what Michael said about, you know, we're not going backwards. There's people that, you know, run around like Chicken Little and they're saying the sky is falling. And this is how we started this show, because the two prominent platforms that I was referring to this morning, like what the hell's going on, they're basically saying the sky is falling. I surrender. I give up. I don't care. Get me out of here. To hell with it. Giving up. Right. But we're not going backwards. And here's the proof. So the proof is there are people all over this world, and there's a lot of people in this community, you know, that I get to see every day and to collaborate with, that are creating their own at a, you know, from a respective frequency, they're creating their own nirvana, their own heaven on earth, by making these choices in regard to the subject matter that we're talking about. In other words, choosing yourself, learning to choose yourself, which is then morphing into the triad, the number one, the numeral one in the triad frequency is obviously different than the numeral one in the 3D frequency. In the triad frequency, the numeral one is self, others, collective, right? So we first have to learn how to choose ourselves. Because we're not perfect and walking on water, we're going to make some mistakes, which are lessons, which help us expand. You know, it's not about the potential failure or even the potential success. It's about trying, you know, which we can all attest to this. All the people that are involved in this vortex of energy, that's one of many around the world, literally are choosing themselves just by putting themselves in this space and saying, how can I grow? How can I get better? But it morphs into where, and this is where I believe we're at. I believe we've done enough work on choosing self first in the higher dimensional definition, not the 3D definition, because none of us here is selfish, you know. And so we've kind of worked some bugs out. We've worked enough of the bugs out to kind of make it a little bit more easy, a little more graceful. And now we're stepping into this field of, okay, if I do this, or if I say this, is it in alignment with service to self, service to others, service to collective? So we're starting to walk into that numeral one in the higher dimension. People call it 5D, 6D, whatever. And so for me, it's like, you know, becoming less of an emphasis on what's wrong with me and more of an emphasis on how can I, you know, master this, you know, walk down the soul highway. How can I do this? Because there's enough information out there, number one, that woke me up. There's enough information out there that I can utilize in the form of modalities or a mantra or affirmation or prayer or technique, where I can keep myself, you know, grounded and balanced, you know, because it is fluctuating. right? And then there's enough information out there, or there's enough repetition that I can now start to say, okay, I'm flowing in this kind of holding pattern. This is how I'm functioning, knowing that as I go on, I can further refine it. But at least I'm not staggering like I'm drunk, back and forth and falling off one side of the charge or the other side to be charged. I'm maintaining myself. And it's all self-maintenance. It's not easy. It is simple. These are simple, profound truths that we each come into in our own way by continuing to be honest, by continuing to honor what makes us uncomfortable, by continuing to take responsibility for occurrences that we have within our lives, conflicts, and it's interesting because as we walk this path and as we elevate, we then become aware of shadows that we didn't see, unconscious programming, blind spots. And you talk about humility. We've all found humility through humiliation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we've all done a pretty good job of that. But there's nothing that says we have to go through further humiliation to become more humble. And if we want to, and if we don't listen to the nudge or the tap on the shoulder or the 2x4 on top of the head from the universe, yeah, we probably will have humiliating experiences. But I don't think we have to do that anymore. I think that these occurrences that happen moment by moment throughout our day, they can help us become more humble. Because I believe that humility is the number one measurement. For me, it is. Like, that's why I used to be sarcastic, but I thought it was funny. And about 2-3 years ago, I started to realize that I can't be sarcastic anymore. I can't make those jokes anymore. Like, I got to walk the talk, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anyone that watches the shows thinks about me. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks about me, or thinks that what they know about me, or how accurate their appraisal of my personality is, or even, you know what I mean? Just, it doesn't matter. What matters is what I learned on the street. It's between me and the universe. And the universe don't play, and the universe functioned, in my opinion, and I think everybody can agree to this, even though 2012 was a big year, mine started summer of 2011, but the universe operated differently in 2012. It operated differently in 2015, and then 2017, and then 2019, we moved into like PhD level, and 2020's been like, and I can only imagine 2021, but we can do it. We can handle it, but it's not operating the way it used to. It's not playing. It's really a lot to me like this Kali-esque energy that loves you so deeply, and that comes in and comes in to work with you from the core, the most core level, both of her and of you. And at the same time, it's not going to take any crap. It's like Morgan has said to me many, many times, I want you to be the best you can be. Like, she wants to apologize for things sometimes. Now, this is mostly, as I was as I was getting, developing and whatever you want to call it, but there's no reason to apologize. When we are working with the highest, purest love there is. And we all know from a strong mother or a grandmother or an aunt or something that when that fierceness comes out of a feminine energy, which we all have within ourselves, it's a powerful, powerful thing. It really is. It's. I was talking to Jamie Williams yesterday about being having a lot of interaction with the Black community where I grew up in high school, and had a lot of friends. And regardless of the masculine energy that was present, in that environment, the mother energy was like, that's it. You don't F with Mother Nature. Like, that was it. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the opportunity that we've been given. We're in the no bullshit zone. And you can talk to people all you want, but it's really you and the universe. That whole new meaning of integrity, what you do when nobody's looking, right? I mean, it's exciting. I'm excited for what we're doing, and I'm damn proud of the human race. I really am. I'm damn proud, and I'm excited to see what we've set up for ourselves. Because we set up such a great 2020 over COVID that we all created, and I have a feeling that there it seems to be that we've had a pretty steady, kind of expansion. Things are rolled out to us, and then the chaos, and then you expect. But I have a feeling it's gonna rev up, but we can handle it, especially post November 3rd. Next.
Me.
You can even change the subject or whatever you want to do.
No, I'm just going to say, I love what you just said, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that Kali energy rise up in me, personally. I am, because I think we need that. We need to recognize that within ourselves first. That unconditional love and that absolute incapacity to take any more of our own bullshit. So it can rise. It can rise and raise the roof for me. I don't give a shit. Let it come.
Yeah.
That's me. That's all I got to say.
I think the only thing I've got to say is everything with intention. Speaking who you're being is everything. And to be honest, that's probably it for me. Who are you being?
Yeah.
Are you speaking from love? Are you being love? Are you feeling love? That's the only question I ever ask. Are you being love?
Wow.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, I think that we're being where we used to create from and how we used to interpret was we conceptualize. And so in the old world, for so long, it was our mind made up what love was, or what grace was, or what virtue was. But we never knew because we weren't really experiencing any of it because we were too blocked. And so what's happening is virtue is it's felt. Love is felt. Tender kindness, compassion, they're felt. We're learning how to speak, right? Pain had taken our voices. Now love is taking our voice, right? Grace is rapturing this entire experience right now and transforming it. And so there's no more conceptuality, right? In the old paradigm, we thought love was lust and attachment. We thought relationship was ownership, right? We thought it was neediness, it was expectation. All relationship in the new paradigm is two ignited lights collaborating to bring more light into the physical, right? Relationship is love joining love to make love spread faster like a wildfire. And so what I think is that it is very disorienting because we're learning how to feel again. We haven't felt anything but our pain. We're learning how to speak again. We're learning how to see again. We're learning how to commune with other human beings in a new way by first learning how to commune with ourselves. And I think that for a lot of us that spent so many years in the dark, in our dark, alone, right? We've faced ourselves, we've burned, we've died. There's nothing this world or another human being can do or say to us because love has slayed us and is slaying us. And every time something comes up, any reminiscences of the pain or the old, we surrender because we know we don't have a choice. And we know that our liberation is on the other end of that purification. And I think that right now it is vital for us to just go silent and go still and let love do what it does, right? And I just want to acknowledge that this conversation for me is completely inspired by the three of you. Like when you guys talk, you guys are emitting the frequency that you guys embody and hold, and it moves into my heart, and then my heart wants to respond to the light that all of you are. And on a personal level, the three of you have literally been such an anchor for my soul and for the spirit to enter my soul more fully into this world. And I'm so proud of proud's not even a word. I just get that. I'm just so happy to see Melissa and Marina on screen because they're two of the most profound lights, and the world needs to experience both of you. And like Brother Todd said a few minutes ago, humility. He talks about humility, right? That meek power of the spirit. You two embody it in a way that is felt, and I know everyone's feeling it. And I hope that this is an initiation, because Brother Todd does this to all of us. He's the key holder to bring all of us forward. And I just want to acknowledge all three of you. But I just really want to say to you, Melissa and Marina, because I know you don't do this often. I just think that your presence and your light and your energy is felt, and your light, your essence is transformative for all of us, and it's been such a gift for me. And I'm just so grateful to be sharing space with the three of you and all our brothers and sisters that are hanging out with us right now. And that's my big brother right there. And he's and when you sent me that poem yesterday, I was so excited. I had no words.
I'm kidding with you. I just spit it out. And that's what's one thing that's happened to me. It used to be probably until about 2018, because I used to talk to people, message people a lot from 2013, mid 2013 when I came off the street till about sometime in 2018, before Morgan came the second time and we got married. I would message with people, and they would do what Michael just said. Like, they all were feeding me code, and I was always in the poetic mind. So I would always start spitting stuff out, and then I'd send it back, or sometimes I'd copy and paste it and put it up on the thing. And that's what's reawakened in me with Michael. So when I connected, when I sent you the little note, it just flowed out of me. And I actually wanted to keep going, but I couldn't, because Morgan couldn't keep her hands off me. I'm just kidding. Oh my God, I don't want to go there. Okay, so I just wanted to add something, and if everybody wants to just say one last thing before, or they can pass. Yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm happy that I really can see the what I was talking about earlier, how the universe is rewarding or reciprocating our efforts like I've never seen before. And if you really look and work with it and stay in tune with it, you can see immediate manifestation for your efforts, for your integrity, and the equilibrium that you carry. And it's happening, and it's happening after 9 years in Soulogy in a way that I could not even imagine. I've been shown glimpses since 2012. I was told in 2012 many times, you don't understand how big this is going to be. I was also told, by the way, just so everybody understands where I'm coming from, it's not about you, Todd. Okay. And I understood that in the first 6 months. They told me that over and over again. And what I'm trying to say is this is just a reflection of other people. It's a parallel of what other people have received in their own personal journey and transmissions and relationship communion with the universe. And it would say it's going to be big. It's going to be bigger than Elvis, bigger than the Beatles. It's global. They'd show me all these pictures. Archangel Michael would come in back. That's how it was working back then. And it doesn't matter to me. It didn't matter then. It doesn't matter to me now. But what I do see is that what's happening, because you can see a little glimpse of it, and this is just one example. I can see that it's much bigger than anything. And when I say bigger, I don't mean bigger is better. I mean, as in, when we put our heart into something, any and all of us, there is an energetic, there's an energetic, visual, sensatory thing where we can see the impact of our heart. And so this is like multiple hearts. This is like thousands and tens of thousands. And we're about to find out with the website. I would not be surprised if we have 100,000 people come in the door in the first 2 months. And that would be mind-blowing to me. And it wouldn't surprise me. But I guess what I'm trying to say, just to conclude it, is that all of our efforts, past and present, are being reciprocated in our lives. But, and this is the Cali thing, but it only works one way. Because the universe is simple, profound truths. And that's essentially, it would be hard to explain, but essentially what it is that you are that God goddess. You are taking full responsibility for the entire fucking world. Period. There's no opting out. There's no compartmentalizing issues. You are the creator of the entire thing. That's why I say I would not be surprised to find out at the end of the game that there are 7.7 billion Earths and 7.7 billion souls, therefore God's goddesses. But what I'm just want to reiterate is that it will not work if well, let's put it this way. It works in proportion to the level of ownership that you take for every single thing, which drills down to what we talked about today. It's never them, it's always me. And I'm just everything I'm looking at outside of myself is me. So create a masterpiece. Melissa, you got anything you want to conclude with?
A poem?
You got a poem?
I'll kill him. Yeah, actually, kind of. I really appreciate this space, this safe space to come in here and to just be me. And I really want to start as I mean to go on. So yeah, I think I will, Michael. Thank you. This is me. This is my heart. I know I shared this with you guys on Monday, but I'm going to do it again. And I just want to give this to everybody or anybody who actually needs to hear this as well, because I did. And this is me speaking to me to top off what I said earlier. Let go of the need to fix things. Let go of the need to speak. Let go of the need to salvage the things that are crumbling beneath your feet. Our paths are paved with choice points. They always have and always will be. for each soul to journey home upon, making decisions often being our greatest feat. But it's not your job to hold anyone. It has never ever been the case that you are responsible as you witness them falling to their knees. Surrender to your journey now, to surrender to your dreams. Resist the urge to leave claw marks on the things that are trying to leave. Your life is happening for you. The love that you are is trying to lead you back to where you belong now, deep within the center of your being. Surrender.
Mm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Marina, you're up.
Mm. Oh, I don't have a poem or anything, but I do want to share my love with you, first of all, Todd. I've said it to you, and I will say it again and again, and a few more times probably. What you are giving is beyond what I've seen for a very long time. And what you want to create, what you are creating. And this is what drew me to this. I never thought I would be here with you. But the love that you project out is incredible. And last night when you done your, when you shared with everyone, was so inspirational. Is probably one of the reasons. It was one of the reasons why I said yes, I'd come on, because I have that vision too for humanity. I see you hold it in the word with Michael. I see you holding humanity. I see you crying with humanity. I see you loving humanity. Everything. Nobody is left out. No. And I hold that too. That's one of my visions every night. I hold the earth and everything on it and just give it love. But I see that in you. And so I want to say thank you. And I probably won't be coming online to do talks very many, but I'm happy to do tonight. Thank you.
Mhm.
And Michael, without Todd's show, I never would have found what we have, what we create together, and what you inspire me to do, to follow through and create more. You got me writing again after years, so that was something. But again, the love that you're being, and I feel a person. I feel an energy. It's with you too. I don't see people. I feel an energy. That's what draws me, because it feels good. When something feels good and things flow perfect, I'm there 100%. So to both of you, and and it's nice to meet you, Melissa, tonight.
Thank you.
For the first time. We will connect and speak offline, definitely.
Yeah.
But for 100%, for everything that I can bring is 100%, because it's for everybody.
Mm.
It's for everybody, So that's all I have to say. Is thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Michael, you want to close us out?
You
want
said
to bring everybody to tears and start bawling, and we can all go home now.
you said you didn't have a poem, but that was a poem.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That's the Akashic halls he's looking in. He wrote them all.
This one's called Tides. How many tides make up one life? I now see the sacredness in all things. For if even one of gods eludes the eyes. The eyes are blind. See me the way the moth sees the light. Think of me in your darkest hour, for I am your wings. Return with me the way day faithfully returns for night. I pray, eyes closed, I breathe. I know what is dead within each breath. I honor these deaths, and then underneath them, I am guided, taken by an invisible wind to a place where words are no longer needed and thought does not exist. For if God were the sky, you are the stars. If God a tree, everything you see, its leaves. If God an endless fire, you, the flame. And if God a child, you, the heart. Bathe in the glory of the nova, for it showered its light into the soul of all life. It is God that rests behind all these tired eyes. The voice is only free when the spirit becomes an echo for eternity. It is there that the heart is given wings. And now I rise, and what is true is guarded like it has always been by love. Alas, my spirit has become my voice. I feel the angels rejoicing. I hear music, but it is not as they said, for I have not moved into the clouds, but I have once again become them. The mountain sees the breeze the trees, the trees, the sea sees. I now see, for even in stillness, I hear song, boundless, immutable. I am free. I am love.
God. Jesus.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Thank you for that. That was amazing. That was fucking like, that's the best one I've ever heard that you've done, which means it's the best one I've ever heard, period. Right? I'm a poetry lover. I hope we see more of Melissa on Soulogy.
Yeah.
Speak that shift into existence.
Okay.
I'd love to see her. God, I should probably put me on the spot, but Michael says that's what I do anyway. So I'd love to see you do a show every week.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I do because it was 2-3 years ago. I remember this. It just came back to me. Somebody asked me what was Soulogy. I think it was on a show or somebody else's show or something. And I answered the best I could. And then when I got off, Morgan said to me, Soulogy is transformation. And so that's what I want to say about Melissa. I've known Melissa and done many shows with her, and also watched Melissa. There's something about people that put it out there, because not only do you have to own the I am soul, but sometimes when you show your ass, you have to own that you showed your ass. There's nothing wrong with what society has called failures and mistakes, and that's not what I'm saying that I've observed. What I'm saying is that the energy of embarrassment, or, oh, I wish I could have that one back and do it again. But there's something about people that don't stop, that keep building and keep moving forward and expanding. And when they do it online, it's damn impressive to me. So that's one thing. That's what I'd say about Melissa Deehan is, she's like a fucking bull in a china shop. She just doesn't stop working on herself. And I was having a conversation with another team member last night, and I was talking about that Marina had asked for us to put together a vision statement for the website. And I was telling her that Morgan had kind of put one together a year and a half ago when we were trying to launch back then. And that she had said, we need to take a look at it because we've changed. Everything's changed, everything's expanded, and so on and so on. And so I said to my friend, I said, there's something I don't really feel like I know that will all materialize, but there's one thing in my head that I don't know how you would put it in there, which is the core of the Soulogy energy, which is to me just another word, like I said, the Holy Spirit, Chi, life force, Rama, whatever you want to call it, is that self-responsibility, is that ownership of the entirety. And to me, that would be like maybe it's one of the core values. If you go back to the old paradigm where corporations would make core values like commandments, and it would be, number one would be, I work on myself every moment of every day. That's a prerequisite to being in that frequency field, amongst other things, but that is the base component. That is to thine own self be true. That is choosing self. That is, that is being fully responsible. And I see that in Melissa and really the other people that are involved, and many of the people that I can detect through the shows, the comments, and the messages. So yeah, I think you should do it. So I hope I didn't put you on the spot. But anyway, thank you, Marina. God, I don't know what to say. Michael says it all. And Michael, thank you so much. Say hello to your parents. Tell them that Morgan and I are looking forward to coming over and having a pachanga with some menudo. We can watch Morgan throwing up. But, okay. I'm going to go and drink my Mexican Coke. Pure cane sugar. And I love you guys very much. And thank you all for joining us. And we look forward to maybe doing something tonight, maybe another radio show. And if not, we've got shows tomorrow. Okay.
Thanks,
guys.
Love you guys.